What's up, YouTube? Back at you guys with another great video today. So today, like I said before, we're going to be going over OShay Duke Jackson's response to Anton Daniels, with them falling out and everything. So let's jump right on into it and see what he has to say.
Thoughts on OShay? Because I know OShay likes content to be able to create content for and all of that, and so I'm gonna give him some content.
As a religious young man, I was sitting back in my house about to pray when all of a sudden I found out about this video. And it was a video from Anton Daniels. And the video was called "He Doesn't Want to Admit He Picked Wrong." Anton Daniels finally addresses OShay Duke Jackson's beef.
Damn!
Now, I'm going to be honest. Anton Daniels did say a lot of nice things about me in the video, which I appreciate. He did say I'm a really good content creator, and I thought that this was very nice. But I just want you to remember something before we break down this video. Anton Daniels does admit one thing about me.
OShay was one of the rare people that actually had my phone number.
Now here, Anton Daniels says that I'm one of the few people who ever had his number. Now, I don't know how true that is, but let's just say, for example, that's true. Then a few weeks ago, when I was making some videos about him, he said this about me.
OShay had my phone number. He's never called me for anything outside of gossip.
Now, Anton said whenever I had his number, I would only call him to gossip. This is an important thing because in the video that he released just yesterday, he says this.
I even took some insight from OShay. Like, we had a conversation and he was telling me some things about how he monetizes and he does his YouTube channel and stuff like that. And I implemented some of that stuff. And I even shared it with some of you guys inside of some of the mastermind sessions and stuff.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the you think you is?
So before we get into the breakdown of the video, we can already see that Anton Daniels has a problem telling the truth. I mean, he had no problem lying on me, saying that whenever I called him, it was for gossip. But then I showed him how to monetize his channel. I helped him with information, which is true, and he used that information in his mastermind. Clearly, Anton Daniels says things that he can't remember, and largely because he's polarizing, so his stories always change.
Now, I did mention that in my previous video where I sat there and said that Anton just said OShay only called him yes to gossip, and then in his previous video addressing OShay directly, he's talking about how OShay gave him some jewels that he used in his own courses. Well, I wouldn't say course, but his Patreon, if you will. So, so yeah, I'm not surprised that OShay picked up on that and called it out. I definitely called it out in the last one, but let's continue.
So therefore, it's very difficult to listen and to believe anything Anton Daniels is saying because Anton Daniels just lies a lot. Woo! But see, Anton Daniels has been seeing, some of the things that Corey Holcomb has been saying about me, and largely, they have been pretty good roasts. I'll give it to Corey Holcomb, calling me Okie Dokie Jackson and I'm ugly and all these things. Hey, I don't really take umbrage to that. I mean, I feel like I can get the same quality as women that Corey Holcomb can get. Woo! I mean, I'm just saying, but I don't want to get personal. I really don't have an issue with Corey or Anton Daniels, but he did mention this.
They picked the wrong side, obviously. And it's so funny that it played out that way because I believe that OShay is trying to save face right now, if I'm just being objective. And again, I don't have nothing negative to say about him. What hurt me was the fact that he wasn't at the very least objective. He took, when you have my phone number, he could have called me, we could have live streamed, and this doesn't mean that he has to. He has my phone number. He has people that has my phone number. We got mutual friends and shit like that. We actually spoke in real life. He could call me and we could do a live stream or whatever. He taking the advice of gossip girls. He taking advice of people that ain't never met me in real life before. He's speaking off of rumors and making all of this stuff. And it's like, where's the integrity?
So because of what's happened with Corey Holcomb and him turning on people like the lead attorney or even myself because of our criticism. He's saying, I'm trying to save face. I've had your number. We got mutual friends. I could have called you and all of this. Now, again, we just saw in this same video, you said, whenever I called you that I gossiped, right? That's what you said. And then you then said, when I called you, I helped you, which it has to be either one or the other. Almost any YouTuber that knows that I call them, I give them some advice or I share ideas and all of this. Basically, what he's saying is I have a lack of personal integrity in my commentary about him. And the reality is that
All right, I'm not gonna lie. Y'all probably see the faces I'm making, and look, I'm gonna just be real. I'm not really sure where OShay's trying to get at. At first, he starts addressing the fact that he did truly pick Corey's side between Corey and Anton beef, and he didn't really address it. He just kind of went back to Anton contradicting himself on their phone calls between each other. So I don't, I don't know why you brought the Corey thing up just to slide by. Like I'm not the only one that caught that, right? I promise. I swear I'm not the only one that caught this, right? So I don't know. Let's play more of the video. Maybe he does come back to it and fully address it. I don't know, but that's kind of weird. As soon as he brings it up, he just instantly switched back to the last point. What's the point you bring it up then if you wasn't going to fully address it? I don't know. Let's see what else you got to say.
I have reached out to Anton Daniels before with some of his positions. And again, I don't have a personal issue with Anton Daniels. That's not what my issue is. I don't dislike Anton Daniels. I just see Anton Daniels for who he is, which is a person who you probably should not trust, a person who doesn't tell the truth. And that's really what it is. I mean, he's a hardworking guy.
The most I would have to say to that, I'm going to address what he just said right there. Look, me personally, I did sign up for Anton Daniels' Patreon, the bag chaser stuff, because of all the information he gives on the business side, like stocks and real estate and stuff like that. And I would say, obviously, I'm not in real estate. I'm not anywhere to where I have enough capital to really go and start doing all that one day soon. But as far as just implementing the stock strategies that he talks about, that stuff works. So as far as like whether or not Anton is trustworthy as a person and stuff, most of y'all are never gonna actually meet this guy or deal with this guy directly. So I don't really see what that has to do with anything other than him just attacking his character. I don't know either one of these gentlemen personally. They both got their flaws at the end of the day, as we all do. So I really don't see what it has to do with anything. Most of y'all are never going to deal with these guys personally, 9 times out of 10, because at the end of the day, we all just one person. We can't talk to everybody. We can't be everybody. We're not going to be everybody's friend. So I don't really see what this has to do with anything. Definitely good to call him out, and Anton definitely contradicted himself on that conversation and stuff. But the full-blown say whether or not the guy is trustworthy, I mean, how can you, like, OShay, how can you fully say that if most I ever did was just talk to each other over the phone and that was it? To be able to have a full, good understanding of who he is and how he carries himself, you've never even met him in person in real life. Him as a personality online is a good chance probably something totally different in real life. But I don't know. It's like I said, I just don't see what that has to do with anything. Most of us are never going to have to deal with him on that level. But as far as whether or not he gives out good content or he actually gives out good advice in his Patreon, that's all I really care about, because I don't know Anton personally. Never talked to the man a day in my life, never met the man. If I do, cool. If I meet OShay, cool. Love the guys, love their content, love what they're doing, but at the end of the day, all this stuff y'all talking about is just content stuff, so whatever. But let's continue.
He probably does care a whole lot about people that he loves in his life. He's a hustler. I mean, hey, listen, I don't have a problem with him doing that, but the problem is that he's trying to make this mutually exclusive. In other words, I can either support him or support Corey or neither one. And basically being mutually exclusive is pretty much saying that 2 events can't happen at the same time. So, for an example, either you are dead or alive, or either the switch is off for electricity or it's on. It cannot be two things. It can't be hot or cold. When the reality is that you and Corey Holcomb can both be wrong, and I can call you out, which is interesting because you're saying I wasn't being objective. I was very objective when Corey Holcomb went too far and started to talk about, his daughter and his wife, which I have spoken to his wife before. Again, I've always said I think she's a very, very nice lady. I don't think that his
What expecting to add? There we go.
his daughter.
All right. So what I was trying to say is, yeah, he definitely did call Corey out on some of his BS, especially with him going after Anton's family. So I agree with that. But let's see what else I got to say.
Daughter deserves any of that. And I was being objective. I just wasn't being objective enough, right? And then he says something that I thought was very interesting.
I got to point out the timing. I got to be honest. Isn't it ironic that it just so happened to turn when I go on Fresh and Fit and I get cool with Myron and Fresh? Now, I know that he'll never say this. He'll never admit this because he hates Fresh and Fit and he hates Myron. But that's a them problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't never spoke on him on a platform. I've never done a hit video about him.
So here he says that it's amazing that the situation happened, me being critical of Anton Daniels, when he went to the Fresh and Fit podcast. This is what he's saying. It's largely not true. I mean, again, I've always used the case that if there's anybody that I dislike more than Fresh and Fit, it would definitely be the Angry Man. And he had the Angry Man come to Detroit. I mean, that's just probably the biggest enemy I've ever had in YouTube history, has been the Angry Man beef. Largely, I got involved with the Fresh and Fit beef because of what Kevin Samuels told me that they did. And Anton Daniels was a Kevin Samuels supporter until the clout behind Kevin Samuels went away when Kevin Samuels died, right? So once Kevin Samuels died, Anton Daniels had no choice but to go and grift and apologize to Fresh and Fit because Fresh and Fit were still living and they had an audience. That's all it was. Like, Anton Daniels is not a loyal guy. I didn't come after Anton Daniels because of his position or friendship with Fresh and Fit. I came really after Anton Daniels, or if you want to say becoming critical of Anton Daniels, because of his rhetoric towards the black community. And this is any black conservative. And I'm a guy who votes Republican. If you're going to criticize Black America and then hold yourself up to be holier than thou, then you should not be behaving in the same way.
Okay. Again, I'm sure y'all see the faces I'm making because I'm trying to make heads or tails of this because he said a lot there. So what you're telling me, OShay, is since Kevin Samuels passed and now that Anton recently got cool with Fresh and Fit, that he's not loyal to Kevin Samuels and that he betrayed him in some way? Is that what you're trying to get at and say he's disloyal? I don't really see it. I do get where O'Shea's trying to come from for the most part because if y'all pay attention to what happened between Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels, that, what was it? Myron was talking shit behind Kevin Samuels' back, calling him gay, and they was even competing for the same time slot for their live streams, even though Kevin Samuels was the one that made Fresh and Fit hot in the first place, which is all very true. Kevin Samuels was the one who made Fresh and Fit pop off. Because I'm be real with you, I paid attention to Fresh and Fit back when Kevin Samuels went on. That's how I found out about those guys. And then they started having all those females and a lot of other big names come up on their show. Because I tried watching Fresh and Fit, yes, with them and not have any other like guests. Obviously, I still have the girls, but no other big name guest standings. They just couldn't keep my attention like that. Like her and there, yeah, depending on who they got into with a female. But usually I just bring on some random drunk chick in Miami or some OnlyFans girl or something like that. I know real girls, like it's rare that I actually bring girl of substance on the show. Mostly just bring a bunch of randos. They're like OnlyFans models or strippers or something like that. But I I don't see it. I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that Anton went behind Kevin Saint's back, guy versus Soul, just because he got cool, fresh, and fit, especially with that whole debacle back when Kevin Saint was alive, or you think it's kind of cool in the gang, it's not that big of a deal, and that what they got going on is separate from them having a relationship? No, y'all let me know what y'all think about that one.
As the people that you are criticizing, that is largely being objective. And I have called Anton Daniels before behind the scenes about some of his behavior. I have even warned him about flashing money online. I told him that was very, very stupid, not to do that for the safety of his family, not to do certain things. Of course, he doesn't want to mention that. Anton Daniels rejected.
Real quick, I'll address what he has said there. I don't know if he actually said this to Anton or not. It's a good chance he probably did. But for the sake of argument, he did tell Anton not to be flashy. Anton's even said that on the show before. The main reason he did that was to captivate the audience and get their attention so he could, what do you say, quote unquote, put the medicine inside the candy or whatnot. So, like, just think about like any polarizing figure or somebody that was trying to sell you something. What they normally do, they show you how good of a lifestyle they live so that you'll want to what? Be able to emulate that success. Because you don't want to take advice from somebody who's not successful themselves, right? So you got to start showing money. So that was his strategy. So I get what OShay is saying as far as don't be flashy like that, especially if you from the hood. Anything, last thing you want to do is be flashy because snakes in the grass. So I get that, but at the same time, he's doing it for a business reason. So I don't really know why he's harping on that so much. Like it's kind of obvious why Anton did it. Because if you pay attention to a lot of his old content before Anton blew up, he was not flashy. He was already making decent money back then. So it's just a strategy at the end of the day.
My advice. So all of this, he could have called me, he could have had a stream. Well, I'm not going to have a stream about you because you're just getting worse, right? So you're going out here being disrespectful. You're going out here lying. You just lied on me. I mean, it's right here in the video. You're talking about you love God, you love Christ. You obviously don't, and we can see it. And so I'm not being objective, right? And again, this is Anton Daniels not taking any accountability, but you're sitting here every day on your platform with no accountability. And then he ended up talking about this situation.
I even reached out behind the scenes because the number that I had for him had changed. And I reached out to a girl that we know, a mutual girl that we know. And I said, hey, give him my number. And it wasn't even because I was doing it for me. I was reaching out because, and I don't want to name no names or whatever, somebody asked me to reach out because they didn't understand why he was talking negatively about them, because he had been basically tearing them down and all of this stuff.
Now, this situation is largely true. Anton Daniels did reach out to somebody that we both knew, asking for my phone number. And it does match up to the story. He's saying that he didn't necessarily want the phone number for himself. I had a Skype number that got disconnected. So this is actually 100% true. This is probably one of the few times he actually told the truth in his life.
Got him!
And then he said this.
So I don't know what relationship he got with Corey. Obviously not much at all, because Corey torched him. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that a interesting turn of events? And then Corey torched him.
Basically saying like he torched me, or I took the bitter end of the stick. I mean, he can believe that if he will. I mean, I don't lose any sleep because Corey Holcomb is not a factor.
If you're looking to learn how to trade, a community is very important. And I've joined previous communities, and
in my life, he's just another.
Get my subscriber count up so I can get the money to pay this stuff. Nigga struggling out here, right? I ain't struggling. I ain't paying for no YouTube Red at the current moment, but back to the video.
Person that has personal issues just like the rest of us. And two things can be true at the same time, Anton. You could also be a person that lies, and also doesn't live up to the standards you pretend to online. And Corey Holcomb could also be a person who also lies and who doesn't take any accountability for his actions. So that's why the both of you kind of dislike each other, because you're very similar in personality.
Damn. Okay, so he finally did address what Corey said about him. Took a little minute all the way to the end of the video just about for him to finally go back around to it, but finally got there. Definitely some interesting perspective. I think got enough out of that right there. Go ahead and stop this for y'all. So, just to go over everything in a nutshell with how this all is falling apart or coming together, whichever term you want to use, really don't matter to me. A little unfortunate because, like I said, I like both these content creators, even Corey Holcomb, but I haven't watched Corey Holcomb as much as I used to. I kind of fell off of Corey probably about 22, 23. I haven't watched his content consistently like that since then. Before then, I watched almost every week I tune in, but neither here nor there. But definitely some flaws on all parties. Like I said, nobody's perfect. Didn't agree with every single point that OShay was trying to make. Some of it kind of felt like a reach. Yes, I don't know. He just didn't stick for me. Like trying to go after his whole character when again it's not like you've known Anton like that. Y'all were that close. You even said like y'all were just not that close. I spoke on the phone a few times and y'all never really met. So most you can really go off of is just how Anton portrays himself on YouTube. Since it's not like you knew each other that close, y'all, other than the fact that you did get to talk to his wife, but like I said, it sounds like you know as much about Anton as the rest of us. All we got is what he portrays himself online. So trying to attack his character is just, I don't see it. And at the same time, if most of us are never gonna have to actually deal with a person on that level, what difference do it really make? People gonna mess with that want to mess with at the end of the day. I mean, I'm sure all of y'all can think of somebody you don't like that you think or know for a fact is a shit person. But guess what? They still got people that care about them, still rock with them. Those people can still go out and make new friends at the end of the day. Maybe they're real friends, maybe they're not. Who knows? But I just don't see it. And him trying to say like Anton don't love God and all this stuff is, I don't know, it's a reach. Some of the other stuff, like stick to the stuff that you can prove. Like, yeah, Anton was contradicting himself with y'all phone calls and what was said between y'all. Him just trying to say you only got so that stick to stuff like that that can actually be verifiable as opposed to trying to attack the character, especially when it's never that close when ever met him in person. You can only go off as much info as the rest of us that in the few phone calls I have between each other. So it's like, I don't know. Just don't make a whole lot of sense. But that's just me personally. That's my thoughts. Like I said, Anton has said before he ain't really trying to have friends like this, but that's another thing that's kind of contradictory about Anton. On one breath, he'll say he don't want no friends in the content games. He want to be able to freely talk about folks, but then he thought he was real friends with OShay, even though they only had a few phone calls. And they were just friends of a friend through Kevin Samuels' God Rest His Soul. So it's just like, I don't know if he was reading through their relationship. OShay even said there's more so associates, which based off of them is only having a few phone calls and that's it. I would definitely say they were just associates at best. So I don't know. I don't think Anton should take it as hard to what he should between them. But like I said, all we can do is just go off of what they're telling us, and all we can do is speculate. I don't know the full extent of their relationship, but it is what it is. Can it be mended? Again, no clue, but nothing crazy. If they really wanted to, they could definitely work it out. But like OShay said himself, the main reason he stopped messing with Anton is just because of Anton's ideology, or more so I say his perception, because everybody perceives Anton that he has rags on the black community, he don't rock the black community like that, or he caping for the white folks. And like I said, if you really watch the content, it's not the case, but it is what it is. Perspective is law. People go off what they perceive at the end of the day. So if you got a perspective or a narrative about you that's this, that's what most people gonna go with at the end of the day. So that's why OShay can't deal with him, because he constantly getting called out by it. But main thing I would definitely say is it is weird on OShay part that he did definitely take Corey's side in the beef, but when Corey started talking crazy to OShay really hasn't dug back at Corey the same way he digs at Anton. So it's kind of weird. It's because you still like want to be cool with Corey, or you scared of Corey, or you just not trying to stir something up because you got too much respect for OG. I don't know. It's a little off-putting, but it is what it is. Like I said, I love all three of those content creators. I wish them nothing but the best. If more comes out and they still got this thing going, I'll definitely make another video and report on it and see what's going on, see what's happening. But those are my thoughts, at least. Drop it down in the comments what your guys' thoughts are, whether or not this person was wrong or right or whatnot. Do you think they're ever going to mend it together, or they're just going to stay at each other's necks and keep making videos about each other? Let me know down below. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Get back at y'all. Peace.